Hey everybody, it's Val from Autistic Interpretations. It's time for another Q&A. In today's Q&A, I'm going to talk about how we managed to go on vacation. So first of all, I have a little statement to make. People often kindly message me and encourage me that I don't owe anyone an explanation for whatever it is that I've been talking about in my most recent Q&A. And these are very well-intentioned comments. However, the reality is that ever since I started blogging back in 2015, my goal has been to enlighten the unknowing and uneducated on whatever it is that I'm talking about. So I get a lot of comments and questions from people who just don't know or are genuinely curious, all kinds of things. And I don't mind talking about it, explaining it, because I feel like all in all, in the grand scheme, it's always helpful to put information out there that could help other people or enlighten certain people. Over this past year, I've had some inquiries as well as some almost accusatory inquiries about how we managed to go to Disney as often as we do. And I've told people that I would go over that because I think it would be helpful to people. But for those who ask me in an accusatory way about how we afford to go to Disney, I would like for you and others to take a moment to think about it for a minute. Would you, with that kind of attitude, question a non-special needs family about how they go on vacation? I would hope not. I don't think you should ask me in that way either. For the kind people who ask me, I would like to share our methods of vacationing at Disney. So we've always been the type of family who really watches our budget year round, all the time. I watch my budget with groceries, with shopping for clothes, and all kinds of things. I'm always watching my budget, and that doesn't change when I'm planning any vacation that we go on. Disney is an expensive vacation, and there are things that we do to help manage the cost. So I have 15 things to talk about that help us afford going to Disney World. The first thing I want to talk about is how we buy our tickets. I have a bonus point credit card. So like a lot of people get Sky Miles or airline miles, whatever their reward thing is on their credit card. I have a Disney reward credit card. So I put all of my expenses on my credit card. I pay my credit card off every month, and I earn points on all the things that I buy with my credit card. Some things earn more points than others, and I collect those points over the year. When it's time for us to schedule a vacation, I can cash in those points for Disney dollars. Then I can use those Disney dollars to buy my ticket or to put a down payment on a reservation, or if I had a ton and had some left over, I could even use them for shopping while I'm there or eating, whatever. So every year I use my Disney reward dollars to buy my ticket. My son also has one of these. Hannah has one of these. We all have one. We all three have one of these bonus credit cards. And my son just scheduled their whole vacation and bought their tickets, their room, and everything on their points. So it can be done. And that is how we buy our tickets. So that's the first thing we do. So another thing we do, when you're looking at your budget, you have to decide, is it going to be the kind of year where we can go to Disney a lot? Or we're going to want to go to Disney multiple times? Or is it going to be one of those years that we barely have time to eke out one trip? Most of our Disney career, we have bought tickets per trip. There have been a few times where we have been fortunate enough to buy annual passes. Years ago, when Campbell and I were still married, we bought annual passes at least 1 year, and we went twice with the kids, and we went at least once or twice without the kids. It's like once you have bought the annual pass and you know you've got the ticket part of it under your belt, it makes going back for additional trips easy and more appealing. But then there have been many years where we could barely afford to go, and it is a per trip expense. And then if it's a per trip expense, then you have to look and see what kind of deals Disney's offering. Sometimes they offer a deal like if you pay for 3 days, you get 4 days. If you pay for 4 days, you get 5 days. And it just changes. It always changes over time. Sometimes those kind of specials go along with booking in a resort. So a lot of these things are related to being in a Disney resort. So that's the second thing. That's the second thing. The third thing I want to talk about is how we get there. So we don't fly, we drive. We are within driving distance. It is about a 9.5 hour drive, and that's with a couple of stops to eat, go to the bathroom, get some gas for the car. And that's a whole lot less expensive than if we all bought a ticket to fly to Disney. So that's a big deal for us, that we can drive and not have to fly. That's the third way we are able to save money on a trip. So the next aspect of our trip is always about resorts. So we like to stay at a Disney resort. We like to be immersive, and there have been times we didn't over the years. There's been a few times we didn't stay at a Disney resort. Most of the time we do. And what I do when I'm going to book our trip is I go to the Disney website and I look to see what kind of current specials they have. They usually have an early spring special. They usually have an early fall special. You can go and look, and they'll say, if you book between now and whenever, for a trip between now and whenever, you get 20% off, or 15% off if you do a different tier of resort, or this much if it's that. If you're an annual pass holder, you get even more discount on rooms. That is number 4, looking for resort discounts. Number 5, when I'm doing the searches, I'd always choose the most affordable options with exceptions. What I usually do is I do a search for the dates that we can go, or a window of time when we can go. And I let it pull up all the availability. And then I sort that list by price per night. And I usually book the resort that has the best price. There is an exception to the rule. When they have their value resorts running, we don't always choose that one if it's the cheapest option. We've done that a couple times, and there are just some aspects of it we find not worth it. We'd rather bump up, spend a few more dollars, and not stay at one of the value resorts. But we have, and we could if that was what our budget would fit. Number 6. The 6th thing we do is cost sharing. So we're fortunate that we all have the ability to contribute when we go stay at a hotel. If it's Hannah and Jessica and I, or if it's like coming up, it's going to be Bad Daddy, me, Hannah, and Jessica. We split the cost of the room. But it makes a big difference when we go and split the cost of the room versus when Jessica and I went in February and I covered the cost of the whole room. It makes a big difference. So that's a big deal when you're going with other people who can help split the cost. Number 7, the car ride. So when you're traveling, it's easy to spend money on the drive down. You stop to get gas and you go into the convenience store and you buy a Coke and you buy some snacks and goodies and candy, and that's all fun and fine and dandy. But what we try to do, and we've always tried to do, is we plan ahead and we get some snacks from our grocery store, much more affordable than the hiked up price in a C-store. Pack a little cooler with some Cokes or some water or whatever. And another thing that we have done, and we do, not necessarily every time, but often, especially when we're really tight on a budget, we will pack food, not just snacks, but like a meal for the car. We'll pack something. I will make something ahead of time, like sausage balls. And we'll take sausage balls because we like to leave early in the morning, and we'll eat in the car while we're driving. We'll snack on sausage balls, and that will be our breakfast. And we'll have packed our drinks, so we'll have our drink. That's one less trip to fast food or whatever and spending money. Same thing with lunches. You can pack sandwiches. You can pack peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. You can have a bag of chips. You can have your water or whatever. And you can have your lunch in the car. So you can save a good bit of money on the trip by having your food in the car and snacking on the way. That's one way that we have saved money over the years. And it's planning ahead with food. That takes us to number 8, which is eating meals in the room. So yeah, it's great to be at Disney and not have to worry about taking food and having food available in your room. It's great to go eat out at their restaurants and try all kind of stuff, but that's just not something we've always done. There have been many times over the years that we have taken a budget-friendly trip, more budget-friendly, and we'll plan ahead. When the kids were little, I used to this is when they had different kind of coffee pots than they have in the room now. Used to, they actually had a little carafe, and you'd make your drip coffee. Well, I would use the carafe, and I would put a little can of spaghetti and meatballs or ravioli, the mini cans, the little smaller cans. I would put it down in the coffee pot and run some hot water, let it sit, heat it up just enough. And I've done that with like rice and all kinds of different things. And sometimes I emptied it in the pot, add a little water, but then you have to plan ahead and have something to be able to wash the carafe. Anyway, they don't have carafes anymore, so we don't do it like that anymore. What we do now, that's very feasible. You can take instant grits, instant oatmeal, and things like that. You can still run water through a Keurig or whatever kind of pot they have, and a lot of times it goes straight into a little cup, but you can still add that, stir it up, let it sit for a little bit, and you have a very inexpensive breakfast to get you going for the day. I like to have protein for breakfast, so I can plan ahead. I can make and take bacon already cooked, boiled eggs already cooked, just like anything like that. You pack it in a cooler, take it to your room. The rooms have refrigerators. Put it in there. You can't overburden. I mean, there's only a little bit of space, but you can take juice boxes. You can take waters, and you can, refill your fridge as you go. That's a good way to save money. You don't have to get up, get to the park, and stand in line and buy expensive food for breakfast to start your day. This way you've eaten, you get to the park, you jump right into the activities. Within this one, I'll just go ahead and talk about coffee. I know a lot of people like their fancy coffee, and a lot of people like to go to the parks and stand in line and buy, the name brand coffees and stuff like that. We don't do that. We use the coffee maker that's in the room. We make our coffee. And as a matter of fact, because you can't count on the fact that they're going to replenish the little coffee supply in your room, I usually take a little mini travel size Keurig type coffee maker and our own little coffee pods to supplement whatever coffee's in the room that's complimentary. That way we're for sure we're going to have enough coffee to get us going for the day, and I don't ever buy coffee in the parks. I know I'm probably missing out on something delicious, but I'm frugal, and that saves me so much money and the time to stand in line. Let's move on to number 9, which is also about food. Let's talk about lunch. We've talked about having breakfast in the room. What about lunch? For lunch, you can take your lunch with you if you want to. You could pack a little cooler, like a little soft cooler or something if you wanted to, but even if you didn't want to pack a cooler, pack some sandwiches like peanut butter and jelly that don't have to be refrigerated or chilled or anything. Take some sandwiches, some chips, take some nuts, take some raisins or some kind of fruit. There's all kind of stuff you can pack that will get you through. It's just enough to get you through, keep you going. And then buy that one meal a day. Eat out for dinner. You can still treat yourself, but you can limit that to one meal a day, or you could do, your eat out for lunch, eat in the room for supper. We always build in a rest time in the room in the middle of the day. So if we haven't had lunch, sometimes we eat lunch in the room when we get back, or sometimes we've eaten lunch and we go to the room, and before we go back to the park, we eat an early supper. So, whatever floats your boat on that one, but that's one way we save money. We save money by packing food for the park and eating in the room. Number 10, again, this goes against what some people think is fun when they go to Disney. I know I hear a lot of people that go to Disney to buy food. That's the whole thing is you buy something here, you buy something there. Do you like this at this store? Do you like that at that place? What's your favorite treat? We don't have a favorite Disney treat in terms of food because we've never really gotten into spending our money on food or treats at Disney. So that's one way we save money. We don't stand in line at the bakery on Main Street, which always smells so great and it always looks so tempting. We don't do that. We don't have a favorite chocolate somewhere or a favorite whatever anywhere is just not something that we've had a habit of doing in the past. You may have seen us have some treats in the last couple of times we went. Those were gifts from followers who sent us some money via Venmo or whatever and said, here, go buy a treat. Okay, we were happy to do that. But in general, when we're watching our own budget, we don't do stuff like that. All right, number 11. I ran out of fingers. Number 11. Here's a secret. It's not really a secret. You can order from the kids menu. When you do eat in one of the restaurants at Disney, if you're like me and you don't have an appetite for a lot of food, a lot of volume at once, or you just are trying to watch your budget, you can order from the kids menu. We did at Hollywood Studios semi-recently. Campbell and I and Jessica, we ordered from the kids menu at one of the little counter restaurants. We got sandwiches. So we got a turkey sandwich. So I got a turkey sandwich and a drink and a fruit, like a little bitty orange and maybe a little cookie. I can't remember what all came with it, but very affordable to do that way. Order from the kids menu. That's number 11. Number 12. This is an easy one and easy for us. Water. Drink water. Ice water is complimentary. You can go up to almost any restaurant and even like the counter services and anywhere. Even if you're not ordering food, you can walk up and ask for ice water. By ordering water and ice water instead of a drink or a bottled water, you can save so much money over the course of your trip at Disney. We drink water, lots of water. Number 13. Don't buy souvenirs. That's one of the ways we've always, it's not really saving money. It's about budgeting your trip. We've never budgeted for souvenirs. Like I say, we're frugal and we always watch our budget, and that's just something we never did. We never spent a lot of money on souvenirs. You may see us souvenir shopping now. You may have seen us souvenir shopping in our last couple videos at Disney, and that's because people have gifted Jessica Disney gift cards so she can go shopping. She loves shopping for souvenirs. Number 14. This is a biggie. This is a real biggie. People do it all the time. All kinds of people do it all the time for their vacation. It's not a novel concept. It's not something we thought up. It's not something that we figured out on our own, like some aha moment. We save for a vacation. We live on a budget year-round. We pay attention to our spending year-round. We plan ahead, and we plan for Disney vacations because we love to go to Disney. And we work, we earn, we save, we spend. And I know it's harder for some people to save than others for various reasons. Some people are spenders. Some people don't have as much left over to save. I get it. But in the grand scheme of things, that is the number one way that we manage to go on Disney vacations. We save. We save for vacation. Other people save to go to the beach. They save to go overseas. They save to do whatever. We save to go to Disney. That's what we save for. We save for that vacation. Number 15. This is not really about what we do to make it more affordable. Number 15 is, if we can't afford to go, we don't. We had some rough years. Very rough years. During those very rough years of almost no income, we couldn't go to Disney. It was just not, it wasn't in the cards, and it is what it is, and you wait till you can go. So you can't always afford to go, and you wait until you can. One year, we definitely couldn't go, but we found, I don't know how I found it. I found a deal where you could get a free ticket if you volunteered somewhere doing something. I don't remember the details. But there was a way to get a free ticket. And so Hannah and I did that. We got a free ticket just for one day. And that year we stayed with Nani and Granddad because they spent the winters in Orlando, and they went down with their camper every year. They were snowbirds. And so we took a tent and stayed near, in our tent outside their camper, and didn't have any lodging overhead, and went to the park with our free ticket. We cashed in whatever when we got there, got our free ticket. So number 15 about affording Disney is when you can't afford, you can't go. And there have been many years that we couldn't go. We've been blessed this year to be able to go. I was able to get us some annual passes this year, and that's how we're going so many times this year, because we have bought our tickets. Tickets are good. At this point, it's just paying for food and lodging. And I've shared with you how we manage food, and I've shared with you how we divide up the cost of lodging. And that is how we're going so many times this year. You will not see us go this many times every year. And I don't know if we'll get annual passes when these run out. It just depends on the economy, the cost of the tickets, what's going on in our lives. We'll reassess next year. So I hope this has helped some of you guys about how to afford Disney, or what we do to help cut corners and save money while we're at Disney to make it more affordable. Feel free to ask me questions. I will try to answer them. We are not Disney experts. We're just Disney fans. Thanks for watching. Bye.